Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and I'm going to say something that most perpetually online people who make these kind of videos don't usually admit to. I've never seen a CaseyNeistat video. Philip DeFranco made a specific call out to check out his video Sisyphus and the Impossible Dream, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that Philip DeFranco has better taste than I do, so I should probably check this out. And figured, why not make a video of it? Because if I'm going to be shouting at the screen going, what am I watching? Or, oh shit, this is actually amazing, I want to find out in real time and then embarrass myself in the future when someone's like, dude, what was wrong with you? Why didn't you check this out sooner? Why the hell do I want to do that? Oh, yeah, perpetually online. I think we covered that already. More importantly, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. Let's get started. I've been waiting 17 years to make this the video? Or what he's doing in the video. Wait, is this...
You're broke. Totally broke.
Just starting off on something that I definitely don't empathize with and am feeling personally attacked by. This is, okay, we're starting here. Feels like the 90s.
It's embarrassing. It hurts. But then, in that moment, you say to yourself,
someday I'll be a millionaire? Oh, God. I mean, it's becoming more likely as money's becoming devalued, so not entirely impossible. But I know that feeling. Just like, I'm not going to be here horrible. Ooh! Sorry, this is me geeking out over a transition. I realize that's weird, but I absolutely love this. The transition is actually a reverse of him tearing this up. Impossible dream.
You're finally brave enough to ask her out. She was the love of my life. She just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, I know who you are, Casey, but who gave you my number?
Oh, shit, man. Dude, how are you doing things? If that happened to me, I would be very, very embarrassed and probably in a hole crying still 17 years later. God damn.
Right then and there you think, someday I'm gonna marry this girl.
This is going to go one of two ways. Either, I mean, he has to be a millionaire because I'm pretty sure if he's been on YouTube this long and has this many followers, and honestly, he'd probably just do an ad deal for this amount of money. But marrying that girl seems like the harder challenge than the money. Did he actually? Oh shit, he actually did. Oh shit! What happened? Oh, was this him?
Wake up. Are you awake? Casey was in a pretty bad motorcycle accident tonight. I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And he said, no, no. And then I looked at him and his leg was snapped.
Oh, God. Oh, shit. This is... We are having whiplash.
Winter 2007.
That's why it's called Sisyphus. This is going to be up and down and up and down and up and down, showing the process of someone getting what they want and then having new challenges that seem even more impossible over and over again.
I was on a scooter. The other guy ran a red light.
I'm a mess. Tomorrow they're cutting me open and replacing my femur with the titanium rod.
They rebuilt the leg of the
Oh,
metal.
shit, that's intense.
The doctor said I'd mostly
I know family that
recover,
did it, but...
But they made it clear I'd never run again.
I'm assuming he did because that's another impossible thing. I mean, on the one hand, if this video goes like it has been in the first... Only a minute and 30! I'm sorry, we've gone from I'm broke to I'm going to get turned down by a woman to I've married her to now I'm in the hospital to I probably had made $1 million by this point. Just, what the fuck? Also, is this actually old-timey footage from 17 years ago? You know what 17 years ago? That would be the early 2000s. We would have still done standard definition recording. This was pre-YouTube. Did he just have this footage on hand? Oh. No, would this... 2008? 17? It would have been right at the edge of YouTube.
Broken here. Here.
And then, in that moment, a thought. I would heal, and I'd run a marathon, and I'd do it in the impossible time of under 3 hours.
Okay, so I'm sure this is a huge surprise to anyone looking at my amazing physique. I am not a marathon runner. But I have been convinced never to do it by having 5 different family members extended that have run marathons. And I have had to, and this is a direct statement of fact, not even a joke, peel off the Marine Corps Marathon's ending piece where they're in Arlington, which is not a symbolism to stopping in a cemetery. It's direct symbolism, but not for the symbolism that you're probably going with. Oh, let's end a marathon where they want to be dead by the end of it. That's not intentional. Where you have to peel them off the ground because the salt from their body that they've been excreting because sweat has stopped working. So it's more just physically dusting off the pores, congeals to the concrete, and you have to legitimately peel them off and try not to look at the fact that there is a salt ring around where they were sitting, outlining where they decided that this is a good place to set down roots in a very literal sense. So I can say with good authority on someone who has stared at this way too long, 3 hours is like saying, that's really intense. Not a little intense. This is the average marathon runner. 1, they're insane. 2, 4 hours is fast. 5 hours is not bad. 6 hours is good. 7, okay, now you're getting to a little longer point. 8, might be a problem. 4 hours is really fast. 3 hours, sub 3 hours is, you should consider maybe training for other marathons and maybe get a sponsor to see what else you could do levels. Maybe not professionally, but maybe you can get to that point. To make it that far, you have to be good enough to actually consider that maybe running professionally isn't impossible. Because it's not in the 3 hour to 4 hour mark. It's 2 hours plus mark. Because that's under 3. And that's, if he was sub 2 hours, I would say bullshit, man. That is absolutely insane. That's Usain Bolt if he was not a sprinter, but a long distance runner. And for all I know, he is. I have no idea what he does or what he actually has. But was he in jail? I have no idea. So that is, how the fuck did he do this? Or is this one of the impossible parts that actually was impossible? I'm sorry. I'm getting really intense on this because that is legitimately an insane number. Never run again.
A marathon is always 26.2 miles long. And to break 3 hours, you...
Also, he's wrong. 26.2 is what it should be. It depends what marathon he's running. Some add a mile because you have the start, which is a mile from where you actually get on the race course. I'm specifically referencing the Marine Corps Marathon because that's the one I have the most experience with. But I know for a fact that does actually depend on certain various places. It's not always 26.2. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So it could be longer. Also, sometimes you finish the marathon, but there's extra course you have to get through. It's not timed, but you have to because they don't really have a safe place for you to stop right there because you'll clog up traffic. So you got to keep going. So even though you're done, you're not actually done. You have another half mile to go because you can't stop right there. Unless the paramedics are waiting for, which they are. They're there usually if it's well done. So this is optimistic.
You have to run faster than a 6 minute and 50 second per mile pace. That's impossible.
No, it's not. It's just a very fucked up goal, man.
First attempt.
Casey.
Wait, Richmond? Oh, don't know that one.
Virginia.
Richmond Marathon.
The hardest part about a marathon isn't actually the marathon itself. It's 2 different things. How hilly is it? Are you going mostly up, mostly downhill? And that does depend. And what is the weather like? A nice overcast, cool day with a breeze, maybe 60s, high 60s, but with a nice steady breeze, no direct sun. That is ideal conditions. Hell, even a little bit of rain. Not a lot, not enough to make it slippery, but just enough that you could feel that it was and it's dried off, but there's still that lingering freshness. That's great. If this is down south in Richmond, Virginia, that could go either way, man. Probably not too hilly, but the weather could be a bitch.
The goal was 2 hours and 59 minutes.
No.
Now, I'd never run 26 miles in my life, but I was confident I could.
He didn't train? He went in dry. And I don't mean that in the pejorative sense of, you know what I'm referencing. I mean in the sense that he is a brittle stack of bones and things that have been telling him never to run again. And he's going in, waiting for them to just ignite because the sheer friction of everything moving when it has not been trained to do that is going to cause him to consider ambient combustion, not spontaneous, because he's earning this one, a viable possibility. This is you. If you have not run and trained and brought yourself up to do a marathon in front of this, he is going to hurt himself more than the crash. And I'm not even sure that's a joke. That is a legitimate possibility.
Do it.
Yeah, that happens.
Just finished my first
His toenails definitely fell off.
I failed.
He finished it that fast. Okay, this guy's a freak of nature. Like, I know he's saying he's failed, but I was expecting 7 or 8 hours of, okay, I'm more or less walking this, but I did not train. I did not do 26 miles. But he did this. That's respectable. That is being able to hold a very steady pace for an extended amount of time. That is actually impressive.
For context, the average worldwide marathon time is 4 hours and 29 minutes.
And when I said average, when he says average, keep in mind, that is not the everyone finishes that. That's an A. That's the difference between an average and what you want to be on isn't the bell curve. It's the absolute median. It's where most people are at. But that also takes into account everyone on the lower end, everyone on the higher end. This is the people who have done it before. They know what they're doing. They're roughly in there. There's probably a lot of people who are just obsessive runners, and there really is no other kind of runner. It is a lifestyle that you don't choose. It takes you out back and forces you into the shoes that cost sometimes more zeros than there really should be, and tells you to get walking.
Very specific goal was 2:59. I had to make some changes. Starting now, I'd run every day.
The fact that he hit the average without doing that already. I'm sorry, this man is a freak of nature. He should not be able to do this. I don't mean because of the leg stuff. I mean, he shouldn't have got that time without doing everything he just said. This is what he should have done to get the failure.
No more drinking, definitely no more smoking.
He did that while smoking.
And I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, the weight doesn't really matter. You just got to hold it well. It gets easier if you're lighter, but the smoking reduces how much lung capacity you have. What kind of freak biological design do you have where you can get that kind of time without training, without having lungs at peak capacity? Just finishing would have been impressive for a smoker. Dude, whatever your genetics are, go into an experiment already, because we need to figure out that shit.
Pounds.
Work it.
St. Louis. I don't know how he is. Oh, is it raining?
Person for that second marathon.
Oh, the entire time.
Still failed though.
His idea of failure is probably triggering, so I am definitely saving this video and sending it to runners I know. Mom, stepdad, stepsister, stepbrother, brother, other brother, other brother, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, other sister-in-law. I got a lot of runners in my family. I should not count it. It gets depressing. But I am sending it to them because this is going to be infuriating to them, and I want to see the explosion.
New
If
York
I'm
City,
this...
2009.
Ooh, New York is interesting.
This was my first time breaking 3:10. California International. This is a super fast course.
I don't actually know where this one's located at. Like, California's big. Is it
Disney.
LA?
You get stuck in this loop. You try, fail, try, fail.
All right, today is February 20th, 2011. Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Failure, it's a muscle, and every time you use it, it gets a little stronger.
Open it up, Joe!
You're so close.
I know he's defining this as failure, but I think his definition is broken.
Try, fail, try, fail.
Wait, where was he? 2011. Okay, that would have been a very different video, I think. Oh, wait, was this 2011 was Obama? I don't remember when the Tsarnaev brothers did their bullshittery. That would be a very different video, though.
Get knocked down, get back up, get knocked down again.
Your idea of a knockdown is wrong. Like, fundamentally. He's getting faster, though. Like, showing consistent
In
improvement.
Greek mythology, there's this story of a king who's been cursed.
I mean, he did
And
earn
his
it.
curse was to push a boulder up a hill. And just as he got to the top, the boulder would roll back to the start. His curse was to do this really hard thing. And he'd get super close to accomplishing it, but then he'd fall back. I'm not going to make a good time. And have to do the entire thing over again.
Okay. I did not know he did these kind of paper mache. No, it looks like there's little connection points. So he actually made a paper mannequin that he's doing the entire animation with for stop motion. Oh, that's actually really cool. Also, think about Sisyphus. The more you learn about his mythology, the more you realize this asshole earned it. He literally kidnapped a god and faked death and blackmailed them. And basically, it's the one time in Greek mythology where, and then the gods fucked this person over because they pissed them off, was justified and probably the right choice. And then he still pissed them off on top of that. It's actually insane.
And he'd do this over
So 3 hours, you son
and
of a
over
bitch.
for eternity.
See you 26 miles. 3 hours, 3 minutes.
God damn.
Fail, fail, fail.
Yeah, that's what, like I mentioned earlier, the toenails are coming off. This is actually a sign of your shoes being bad. I think it's either they're too tight or they are too, how to put it? I don't want to have it on the screen. Too unpadded. I cannot remember which one because frankly, I don't like having to think about it because it was an unpleasant memory. But yeah, his toenails came off. They are probably still congealed to the sock. Right there, it's still red, and yeah, that is his blood. What's happening is bad shoes. Actually, if he fixed that, he might up his time just because he'd be fighting through less pain. Granted, he's going through enough endorphins, but it does actually matter. This is why runners are obsessive, because things like that, this is just what I've picked up through osmosis over 20 years. And I'm not counting since I've been an adult. I mean 20 years, starting from when I was probably 7. Okay, more like 15 years, but details. I don't do math well. That actually might be enough to help him because if he's having that issue then, that's because he needs to fix his shoes. If he fixes his shoes, it helps his overall process, and that might actually get him at least a minute or two down on his current abilities. It's kind of crazy how just little ergonomic changes like that do actually matter, which he's probably not going to find out.
Fail, fail, fail.
Yeah, as soon as he takes his sock off,
And then you get married, and then you have a kid, and then another kid, and then a new job, and you're moving, and you're moving again.
He was doing a separate job?
Then you're 40. You're
Yeah.
40, but you still haven't done it.
yeah, honestly, as crazy as it's going to sound, if you train your body to this, there's marathon runners in their 50s and 60s and a few in their 70s. And I think there's a few, and by few, I mean maybe on one hand in their 80s still doing marathons. At that point, you're not doing time. You're doing, I still finished this. What's your excuse? It's kind of impressive and also terrifying. Dehydration. That's not good. Yeah.
This is my Nana. Her impossible dream was to dance forever. She did that. She was on her feet dancing until the day she died at age 92.
That's her at 92? God damn. I can't do that now.
She made it happen. No one else has anything invested in this. No one cares if you do it or don't do it. To the world, this pursuit is just your cute little hobby. I was 26 when I set this goal. I was young then, and I
I mean, admittedly, there's people who run professionally. You're not going to get sub 2 hours past 40, but just because the body does break down. But sub 3 hours is possible if you go for it. And considering what he could do untrained, it sounds like he had a lot more issues with heat stroke because as soon as you say dizzy and a race, you know what's going on. There's a lot of issues, though. Again, all my knowledge of running is osmosis through obsessed family members who would not stop talking and or doing or literally dragging you with it. Yeah. Got to learn a lot of things about how to manage that. Never do it myself because I will not do that. I refuse. But to how to manage other people who have literally subjected themselves to that. Like the appropriate way to unironically get enough ice on short notice to put someone's body into it. Because when you are going through a marathon, treating yourself like a cadaver feels good. Also, you can't do no ice with only ice. It has to be a little water so you can get into it rather smoothly. And the weird part is a little salt can help in the sense that salt's kind of therapeutic. And also it does help start dissolving the water so you can get in easier. And it doesn't just feel like it'll congeal right away. It's weird. That's more of a preference. I don't know a lot of people who did it, but I also know people who did. The water, though, is actually kind of necessary. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And if you try and get it into straight ice, it just flash freezes together often because it'll melt just enough to do it. And then you just kind of drop yourself down when you can't really move well onto something that won't let you in. It's kind of like dropping straight onto a block of concrete, which admittedly, with how tired some people are after a marathon, would still feel good.
Couldn't do it. Now I'm old. If I don't do this now, it's just going to get harder. And
You
if
still
I back
can.
off, if I let reason win, then I have to carry the weight of that
What runner ever lets that
unrealized
win?
goal until the day I die. So those are the stakes.
We went
And I
dancing
want to be
too.
like Nana.
Go runners!
Damn. And we can see as it upgraded to HD on this one.
6 a.m. August 1.
Oh no, he's wearing earpods. I know that's a meme from like, what, a decade ago? God damn.
2023 New York City Marathon. This year was really different. This is Roberto.
Last year?
He's my coach now, and I followed all of his guidance.
The stadium seeing all the
Oh.
fans.
I took no shortcuts.
Crazy, we're cooking 6:53 of it, so.
I have an Olympic marathon coach. He's running next to me
yes,
and me
that's what I'm
alone for
saying,
26
yes.
months.
I mean, good for them. How's he gonna do
This
though?
was it.
Your boy is fit.
I was fitter than
Yeah.
I've ever been. I was fast.
6 days, Roberto.
And I had Roberto pacing me.
That is the New York City Marathon finish line. It's pretty exciting.
It was
Just going to
16
see it.
months of focused training just for this race.
This is just last year.
Today's gonna be the day.
Ooh, overcast is good.
I was
Oh, no, it's starting to
stronger
clear
than I've ever been.
Casey!
At mile 13, I was on pace.
Yeah.
Mile 18, I was on pace.
Oh
I
no.
felt strong.
No, he's leading into something bad.
Go Casey! Good pace! Good pace!
What's he doing? Love the drone shot.
Why was this so hard? Talking about a margin of less than 2 minutes. Moreover, why do I care anymore? It's not about a broken leg or needing to prove that doctor wrong. I have now run 24 marathons.
And admittedly, that's insane. They actually start giving you medals after I think the 10th. And then I think in increments of 5 and beyond, like specific medals to it that change what you get. They give you a medal for each one that you finish, just to finish because it's such an accomplishment. Oh, goddamn. The crazy part here, he's talking about the sun-cussed fallacy. It's, I've invested so much time into this, it's a failure if I don't do it. But again, also, he's showing a really good reason why his standard of failure is broken. I know I've said it, but I gotta reiterate because it really is being hammered home. Considering how he started this, it took him 17 years to make this video. I think he's leading narratively into saying he finally made it. But maybe the rest of the video is just learning to cope with giving up, which would be depressing as fuck. CaseyNeistat.
I won.
Oh, Ashton Kutcher?
Come on, Chris, you're
Oh, I
looking great.
didn't know he ran. Is he from that old TV show? I probably know him
At
from
age
somewhere.
42, I had just run the fastest marathon of my entire life.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
We had a good day. The official result is 3:01:27. We had a good time.
Good day.
Yeah, 6:48 through 22 miles. So.
I mean, admittedly, that's still insane. Unironically, that is insane. And not the age thing, just still getting that at all.
So yeah, and but you were all great out there. Thanks for cheering.
It's just an arbitrary number. I don't need to break 3 hours to know who I am.
But you want to.
What matters are the experiences, the journey, even if I failed in the goal. See, life's a battle, and there are times when you need to accept that you've been beat.
So this is getting over failure.
Road, and there's a lot to be proud of. But
Yeah.
I'm never going to break 3. I'm just not that guy.
Wait for it.
Oh, fuck that.
That is a... Wait, Tuscaloosa? Oh, Tucson. Halualoa. Okay, I just really fucked up my entire reading comprehension on that one. Wait, Shit, if this was... I've heard horror stories about some of the specifically southern, far from the coast runs. I don't know if they're accurate because I never wanted to double check, but oh. That is going to be very hot and very dry.
It's been 5 weeks since I failed in New York
Does
City.
not look... 5 weeks later?
Arizona.
You crazy motherfucker. You did this 5 weeks later. The recovery period for this, for some people who are absolute monsters, they can do this back to back. These are the kind of people who look at an Ironman, which is a marathon, and other events, or even triple marathons, which are a thing, but not for time, but for sheer distance and endurance. It's that level of my body is a freak of nature that should be studied and given to science. And the government might consider that enforceable levels of I'm going to take your body now. Full on body snatchers out of the 50s levels of perfection that should be studied and or given over to science for other reasons because someone's just gonna be like, oh my God, which is a horrible reason, but also probably something that happens. But that is not a good recovery time. This is your body is still going to be healing, man. I mean, we have clarified, though, in his ability to get sub 4 hours in his very first marathon that he is a freak of nature. So maybe it's possible.
Doing it again.
It looks like a clear day, too. Oh, and that's going to be hilly.
You don't just give up. You can't just walk away. You get out there and you find that fucking dog. Yes, it's hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. You're not out here because it's easy. You do a lot of meaningless, purposeless, stupid things. You get obsessed. You spend years focused on them. And literally no one cares but you. But you persevere anyway. You keep running.
God damn.
You keep running. You don't quit. You die trying. Because when you add up all those stupid, meaningless obsessions and accomplishments, what they equal, what they add up to...
What does he get?
...is your life.
Oh! Son of a bitch. And that was a clear, cloudless day, too. God help him. There was no... Like, apparently he just thrives on suffering. God damn.
What's the time? Bro, 257. Say it again. 257.
Eh, close enough. He got better. 257. Oh, the first one was his goal. How did he get younger? Am I the only one who sees that? He looks younger in... Like, this is his old one. He somehow looks older here. But then you see him in the new one, and he actually looks younger. Probably the level of fit. And Boulder collapsed. Now, is he going to do the runner thing and try and beat that? So I didn't know what I was going into on this one, and I can see why this guy's doing great on YouTube. His storytelling is on point. His animations that he had other people do or were donated to him, I don't know. I don't care, but they were perfectly integrated. I loved how he built up. He had that climax where you think it's a failure, and then he almost inverts it and ends off on saying, no, fuck that. We're not ending here, and then pushing through and doing something else. But if there's one conclusion I've come to in all of this, is that Casey Neistat is a medical freak of nature who needs to have someone just get copies of his DNA to figure out what the hell is going on in there. Because that is not normal. Not that it's impossible, not that it's not replicated, but the fact that he could do it just immediately without the training that well, and then decide, well, I did horrible by doing better than the average. I should try that again. But actually try this time. God damn, man. What we are looking at here is both the equivalent of good genetics and then tons of fucking practice. So yeah, the guy earned the hell out of that, but that is obscene. Just because you hit where your natural stride is limiting you to, and that's really the biggest point. How you run, the actual mechanics of how you move your leg do vary between person to person. Someone else has a better stride. Maybe they roll their leg differently. Maybe they swing their legs more. It all does depend, and it can influence how fast you can go because some motions are just better or worse. That is a huge factor, and it's really hard to change because as you grow, as you walk, your legs develop the muscles and the musculature and the tendons wear down in patterns and grow, specifically musculature, not the tendons. There we go. In a way that emphasizes how you move, how you're comfortable moving. Increasing when you've reached your limit is hard as hell, and he did that. God damn, man. I'm impressed as hell. Not impressed enough to ever do a marathon. I have way too much horror stories that I never want to actually deal with. I've only told the nice ones, not the ones that actually are terrifying. Like how there was a guy in a fursuit on a unicycle doing it, and I don't know if he finished, but he did it to start with, so it was terrifying. Yeah. Also, there was a guy doing I think it was a bagpipe while running the marathon. That's not terrifying because he was doing it, but because he was playing the bagpipe, and I couldn't tell if it was good or bad because it was the bagpipes. We're just going to drop all of that thought line, though, because I am both impressed and terrified of this man. God damn. If this is what his normal video is like, I am hoping they don't all take 17 years to do, and then they had random amounts of footage for the last 17 years to make it. I need to check him out more. Yeah. If you haven't already, there's a link below to his video. I can see why Philip DeFranco specifically called out this video. It is really damn inspiring and absolutely insane. Have I mentioned the medical miracle and freak of science? Because that is so damn accurate. God damn, man. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.